we're going to go into questions and answers now, and we appreciate your cooperation so far in all these press conferences. So wait until you're being selected. Please address the person who you're going to question, so that way that person can come forward. And immediately following the questions and answers, we're going to go to the Creole translation.
So the grand jury has not yet been impaneled. So I was speaking to the state attorney this morning about it, and we were talking about whenever it is moving forward that we will be fully on board. She has announced that she will be asking the grand jury to look at this matter.
And what will it be?
I'm sorry?
What will it be?
Like all of us, answers.
Any of the Spanish media got a question, so we can alternate here? Spanish, right again?
Alcaldesa, buenos días. Quería preguntarle sobre el mismo tema. Usted dice que aquí está la fiscalía. También tenemos entendido que hay agentes del FBI participando en la investigación. Quería preguntarle para que me confirme si es cierto que el FBI participa de la investigación y el tema del gran jurado lo va a convocar la fiscalía o quién va a convocar el gran jurado. Gracias, jefe.
Bueno, no, el FBI no está en la investigación. La investigación primero es con el Miami-Dade Police Department para recuperar los miembros de familia. La alcaldesa y el NIST están aquí. Tenemos un grupo reunido y ya va a haber dos investigaciones. Uno sobre lo que ha pasado con las víctimas y el otro es sobre lo que ha pasado. Va a ser un fact-finding y la fiscalía va a también tener el grand jury también para mirar esta investigación también. Eso se va a demorar, es un proceso muy técnico y se tiene que hacer bien y se va a hacer bien para traer justicia o para traer lo que ha pasado aquí.
Thank you, sir. NBC?
Chief, I think you'd be best for this. So, residents are talking to us about those that evacuated, pets being left behind. How does that dealt with? Is ASPCA dealing with that? What are you hearing on the pet front?
In regards to when we first arrived, we do what we call a primary search and a secondary search. So we see that devastation to the building that's still standing. When we first arrived, our units did immediate searches, immediate removals in regards from balconies, wherever we found individuals. We searched each unit. So every unit that we're able to gain access, if not through the primary, which is the first time we go through, it's our secondary search. So we search through there as well. Obviously, we're looking for live victims, individuals. But obviously, if we come across a pet, we would move them as well. We haven't. So we didn't come across any animals as we went through any types of pets during our primary and secondary, so we know that part of it's been searched. Other than that, that's all I can confirm in regards to any possible events.
Because there's many more to get to.
Well, the fact
that you can't access now.
The fact that we went through on our primary and secondary, we would have come across.
Thank you, Chief.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Yes, and another aspect, when we went through there, the building itself, again, in our line of work is fire rescue professionals, Miami-Dade firefighters, again, the first unit on scene. As a fire chief, I couldn't be prouder. When I look to see what we did, and even now, and I got here probably about 45 minutes into the incident, and when I see what we put ourselves in, wow. The rescue efforts that we did, what we went through going on those initial first hours of this environment at 1:30 in the morning, 1:20 when this came in, 1:24 when this call came in, and just nonstop throughout, and we've been nonstop since. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, Miami-Dade County, all our local resources within Miami-Dade County, all our Florida resources coming with our task force, with our federal teams coming on standby, and that's what we emphasize. I mean, we see the magnitude of this damage. We see it, and that building collapsed almost in the footprint of where that building stood. We're talking about 12 stories with subterranean with garages, all within that same footprint. So I'm just trying to emphasize the magnitude of what we're encountering, what we're seeing, and we still keep pushing forward. So yes, we definitely searched and went through. I'm sorry. And the other issue as well, there's definitely structural issues. and I kind of went off topic there. We can't go back in the building. Okay, we have, with our USAR teams, we have structural engineers. We have engineers off site. With now the federal incident support team arriving, they also will assist with the engineer component. And right now, we will not go back in that building. You know, we have a section cordoned off away from that building that we won't search in this building. Okay, so there's definitely concerns on all aspects, and we keep them.
Thank you, Chief. Followed by the AP. Governor.
Can you tell us about your meeting with the North Bay Village today?
Okay, so the question's about meeting with the chief of police for North Bay Village, who's I think she was 93-year-old mother was in the towers, and it was on the one hand heartbreaking because this is somebody that he had just dropped off back to her home just I think 2 days before the collapse. But it was also inspiring because I could see the difference that she made in his life, in his wife's life, and in her grandkids' life. And I think that the life that she led and for all these years, and obviously, you know, no one's given up hope, but you see that those types of stories replicated throughout with these families, and none of these tragedies are ever easy. It's very difficult to see somebody who's just asleep in their bed, and then you get news that their building just collapsed, and then you're waiting to see what is the resolution? Can they be saved? Can they be identified? And many of these families obviously are waiting. These guys are working their tails off, and as the fire chief said, it is a very difficult scene, and they are leaving no stone unturned, and they're going to continue to do that. But it's been a very, very difficult time, and I think the grief has been, in some respects, unique, just given the scale of the tragedy. But man, I was inspired just talking with him, and you could tell what he's been able to do, what his kids have been able to do. Very successful family, and it all traced back to that matriarch. And God bless her, and God bless that family.
Associated Press.
Mayor Burkett mentioned that there was debris falling from the building this morning. Was that new? Is it getting worse? Does that indicate that there might be some shifts in the remainder of the building that you guys are worried about?
Well, in regards to the building itself, we're constantly monitoring. So no, we haven't seen any shift at all. So we have special technology that's measuring to make sure there's not any shift. So that's a constant. In regards to the debris falling, I wasn't briefed what transpired there. As I mentioned, there's that 45-foot area that we're not, which is next to the building, that we are not working in because of the overhangs, the hazards that we have overhead.
Sir, the rules of the
Spanish over here.
Mexico that they have not recovered.
Ma'am, Spanish over here. Spanish. Señora. Español.
Yes, the group of Mexico that they are called the topos, that they are specialized in these situations, are here and voluntarily willing to
Yes.
help in a situation like
And we are accepting their help. Thank you so much.
Yes?
Yes, thank you so much. They've been in communication, Alan,
Entonces, ¿quién se tienen que comunicar?
Okay, excuse me, just to clarify, as was said here before, we have so many groups on standby, and that is part of their, that's what we're seeking from them. We are circulating, we're rotating groups in. There are 210 people on the mound. We can't put anybody else on the mound, so we're circulating in, and they are part of our backup team. Thank you. Sí, que estamos con recursos suficientes para todo lo que necesitamos y los que están aquí esperando para ayudarnos en el momento que necesitamos, y este grupo es una parte de ellos.
Thank you, ma'am. Channel 4.
We've been told that 2,000 buildings are overdue for the 40-year recertification here in the county. Have you heard that?
No, ma'am, I do not have that number.
Could you give us an update on the audit so far?
We reported it out this morning. It was in the order of 40-something that were due. They've all been under review, We produced a list of those that we find that need to have their issues addressed. They mostly they're electrical issues, not structural. And as you heard earlier, we have directed a unit with 4 balconies to evacuate those areas.
And Mayor, how many buildings are part of that
The
audit?
last 2 questions are going to be the gentleman in the black and the lady over here.
For the governor or the mayor, if you guys can talk about whether or not there's an accurate number of how many foreign nationals were in the building and how many were among the unaccounted or confirmed victims. Also, how many foreign nationals may have been given visas and what kind of help those families are getting.
Well, I'll answer first to say that obviously we have a fluid list of those who are still unaccounted for, and they definitely include foreign nationals. It is a fluid list, so we can't say it's a final list, and we've been in touch with the consulates for the various countries represented, and we are working with the State Department as well. Sí, estamos aquí con varias personas extranjeras en los edificios desde la información que hemos recibido, pero los números son fluidos y estamos hablando con los consulados y dando toda la ayuda también del Estado, Departamento del Estado para ayudar a estas familias. Pero no tenemos números final.
Thank you. The last question right here before we go to Creole. Channel 10. Who's this for? Who's it for? No, for who? Mayor, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. So FEMA is supporting all of the families at this point. Obviously, there may be some things down the line that they would not be eligible, but fortunately for us, because of the outpouring of incredible support, $1.6 million already donated, we are making sure that everybody who needs assistance will get it.